Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Proline. This is the NFL edition. Don't forget, there's a college football Proline as well, so you want to make sure and check that out. I'm Dave Cokin here in Las Vegas, joined by world champion handicapper Jim Feist. John Creighton on hand as well. We're going to be looking at some key NFL games and our men of the street, actually, H.K. Malay and Jeff Saad from L.V.S.S. will be joining us with free NFL picks. First, let's get everybody up to date, and this is, this is amazing. Listen, Jim, you outdid yourself last weekend. I mean, by any standards, this is extraordinary. 16-2 football weekend, 9-1 in NFL totals, 2-0 on games of the month, and 3 huge plays going this weekend that everybody wants to know about.
It's been awesome, Dave. You know, it's always a Tuesday, which is pay and collect day. It's always better to collect. It's not one of those things where you feel better when you give rather than get. It's the opposite in this game. 16-2, 9-1 with my NFL totals, 2-1 with my college football games of the month. Top plays cashed: Pittsburgh, Rice, UCLA, Georgia Tech. I've got my game of the month on Saturday in college, as well as my first, it's in the ACC conference game of the year, and my NFL total of the month on Sunday. Each play is $100 online. You can get all 3 for $29 with a 3-0 guarantee. 3-0, you must go 3-0, or the rest of September is free on me. That's right, 3 big games, $300 value, just $29 with a 3-0 guarantee. You must go 3-0, or the rest of September is free on me. Just call the number 1-866-841-1655. That's 1-866-841-1655. And don't forget, if you want free plays text to you each and every day to your cell phone, just text WINNER, the word WINNER, WINNER, to 313131. But if you want this big package, 3 big games, 3 big winners, 3-0 guarantee, 1-866-841-1655. It's only $29.
Okay, Jim. I've got all these numbers in front of me. John Creighton, you're seeing right now, assembles all these. He's basically the fact checker here, and I'm not even going to bother with him. All I'll tell you is this: everybody who's on with me right now is winning a lot of money. Okay, it's that simple. It's going really well. 3 straight good weeks out of the gate in college football. You could grade them better than good, but we'll just call it good. The NFL was terrific last weekend. Not so good the first week, but very good last weekend. Baseball has been strong lately. Everybody who's on with me is making money, and that's what this is all about. On Saturday, I've got a 5-play college football countdown. It's going to include another college game of the month. All 5 for $25. You sign up early, you get a bonus TV winner tonight. $25, and you're not going to get me any warmer than I am right now. So make sure and call the number 1-866-896-1629. That's 1-866-896-1629. And I should also mention the free plays. I have a daily free play. Those are going very well right now, and you can get one every day sent to you via text message on your cell phone. Just text Cokin, C-O-K-I-N, to 313131, and you get back a free play with a brief blurb on it to buy something, which we hope you will do. And that's all you got to do. Now, Jeff Saad, well, John, he's rolling as well. It's going pretty well for all of us right now. And Jeff has 2 very big games going this weekend.
Yeah, he hit his shocker of the month last Saturday. That was Central Florida. That was a shocker, all right, at 34-31
nice.
At Penn State. Yeah, Jeff has 2 plays. You can get both for $10. His AFC game of the month and his college football dog of the month. 2-0 guarantee. You get both plays for $10. And if you don't go 2-0, you get the rest of September free from Jeff. 1-866-575-8916.
Okay, here we go. Twitter question of the week. We do this every week, and you can follow us on Twitter at JimFeistsports, or on Facebook, you friend us at ProlineTV. And if we happen to use your question, you get put in a drawing to win $100 worth of free plays from any handicapper. Or $100 worth, not free plays, $100 worth of plays. If it was $100 worth of free plays, they'd be free. This is $100 worth of plays from any handicapper of your choice. Anyway, this is from Brent Bass, Toronto. I like too many favorites. Dogs went 9-6-1 in the NFL. Give me some tips on what to look for with dogs. Well, I think the natural inclination of most bettors is still to look at favorites. That doesn't mean that they're not going to get there. I mean, look, if you have a favorite that you like, go ahead and fire on it. Green Bay was certainly a favorite that a lot of here, I'll give you one tip. I mentioned Green Bay because the public was on the opposite side of that last week. The bettors were heavy on two underdogs last week. Washington against Green Bay and 49ers against Seattle. Now, for myself, and this isn't an automatic by any means. I'm not a big just rubber stamp it and play it type of guy. But when you find an underdog that's extremely popular with the public, not the sharp guys, but the public, that's a dog I really don't want to be on. Because it's very rare that the public will be more than 50% on an underdog. It's usually going to be the favorite getting 55, 60, even sometimes more than that of the tickets written. So sometimes you want to look to see where the sharp money is going as opposed to the square money. But this is a situation where I mentioned those two games where the public was just blasting away with the underdog like the game was over already. That's when, to me, you start looking at the favorite. Other than that, I mean, I don't know. I can't really just give you a blanket recommendation, Brent, on how to handicap underdogs. You just have to size up each game individually. John, you want to add to that?
Sure, I look at good teams. When you find good teams as a dog, take a close look at them. For example, the Falcons this weekend at Miami, they're a dog. That jumped off the page to me. With their talent, they're capable of beating anybody, anytime. Last week I was on the Cowboys. Got a fortunate cover at Kansas City as a 2.5-point dog. But there's a team with above average quarterback, a lot of skill position talent. So good teams in a situation where they're a dog, very much a live dog.
My free plays via text message. Just texting Cokin, C-O-K-I-N to 313131. You can also get Jim's free plays each day via text message. Just text winner to 313131. And again, you'll get back the free play on a text message right to your cell phone. Okay, before we get to our games, let's check in with our man on the street. First up, HK Malay with a free NFL pick. HK, what do you got?
Hey, thanks very much, guys. The NFL is setting a record so far this season with close games. And week number 1, 12 of the 16 games were decided by a touchdown or less. And week number 2, 10 games were decided by a touchdown or less, with 3 games decided by a mere point. If you need to turn those close call losses into money makers, call the team at sportsbettinginvestments.com for Sunday's Green Bay Cincinnati winner absolutely free on a recorded message at 800-999-8023. Both teams are coming off big wins in week number 2, and Vegas has made the Bengals a slight home dog. We have the winner free on a recorded message, 800-999-8023.
Wagering with sportsbettinginvestments.com is not a one-night stand. It's a long-term commitment. Call now for today's free winner on a recorded message, 800-999-8023.
Let's go to the Packers and Bengals. And Cincinnati coming off a nice win against Pittsburgh, which right now is a very bad football team. 20-10 on Monday night. Green Bay had a much easier time of it, John. They absolutely throttled the Redskins last week. Aaron Rodgers had 380 yards passing at the half in that game. Had they decided that they wanted to keep throwing the ball, I think he would have thrown for 600. The Packers Rodgers will have a tougher task this week, and Cincinnati's defense a lot better than Washington's.
Yeah, when I look at the Green Bay Packers, for me, it's about matchups. I mean, when they played 49ers, the team that steamrolled them in the playoffs, tough matchup because they have difficulties on defense stopping the ground game. Well, last week, Washington, a bad secondary. Doesn't matter if Green Bay has their running backs banged up or how much they're going to run the football. It's all about passing with the Packers, and they just shredded. And so here's a game where it's more like week 1 for me. This Bengals defense is great, even underrated at times. Ranked 6th and 7th in the NFL in each of the last 2 seasons. A lot of talent and depth on defense. Bengals in September 3-0-2 against the spread. They're also on a terrific run under the radar, 8-2-1 against the spread. I think the matchup is with the home team here, Dave. I'll take the Bengals.
I'm going to look at the total for now in this game. Green Bay is not going to run the ball in this game. Not going to happen. Starks will be playing. I know he had over 100 yards against the Redskins, but again, that was against a soft defense, and he will not be facing that here. So I think Green Bay is going to know it going in, and I think they're going to just air the ball out all day long. I'm also, despite the fact that the Packers defense pitched a really terrific game in the first half last week against RG3, I'm also still skeptical about the strength of the Green Bay defense. It's a season in the NFL where, at least for the time being, now this may change later on as the weather changes and numbers adjust, but I think you got to look at overs where you can find them. And with teams that are as high-powered as Green Bay, I think you take a natural look at the over on a weekly basis until the numbers catch up. And they will at some point, but if you look at the first 2 weeks, haven't come remotely close. The first game against San Francisco, loads of points there. What was it, 62, I believe? And you saw what happened last week with the Redskins. I'm not going to deviate from that. I know Cincinnati's a better defensive team than offensive, but I do think you're going to get their share of points here. I don't think anybody's shutting down Green Bay. I don't know that the Packers put up 35 or something like that here, but are they going to get to 20? Yeah, I would think so, and probably beyond that. So my take is to stay with what is working, and as far as the Packers are concerned, that would be the over. The Bengals might have a lot to say about that, and this one could get dicey because of their defense, but I think over.
Well, Dave, what I think about this game is I don't understand it. I know that Aaron Rodgers is a public guy. He's one of the best quarterbacks in all of football. Packers at the Bengals, if you look at the rosters of these two teams, the Bengals have the better roster. No, they don't have Aaron Rodgers. They have Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton is kind of a conservative guy. He doesn't really, maybe it's the offensive scheme, the head coach, the offensive coordinator, but they're very conservative. They have such talent on offense. I believe they should be dominating, not just winning games. Yes, they've been to the playoffs the last few years, but it's usually 1 and out. They don't score a lot of points when it comes down to big pressure games. They're just not utilizing their offensive skills as they should. On defense, they're very solid. You don't get a lot of points against this team. The Packers, Aaron Rodgers, this guy's one of the best in the league. He can score points, over 30 points a game first couple games. Even against San Francisco's vaunted defense, he scored a lot of points. Last week, I kind of throw that out because the Washington Redskins, they really right now do not have a defense. They don't have an offense that can keep them off the field, so they get kind of tired out. And Rodgers took totally advantage of that, scored a lot of points. But this is a big road game. What I don't understand here is Cincinnati opened the favorite. Now you're looking at the Packers, a 2.5 or 3 point favorite on the road. I do not agree with that line move. I'm not saying that Cincinnati should be the winner of the game. I'm saying they should and deserve to be at least the favorite in the game because this is a playoff team, no real big visible injuries, better roster, offensive line strong, defense is strong. They deserve to be the home favorite in the game. It's going to be a war. I don't agree with the line, however.
Before we get to our second game, we're going to check in with Jeff Sott. He is also a man on the street this weekend, and he's got a free NFL play right now. Hi, Jeff.
Thanks, guys. Got a free pick coming up in the NFL, but first, it's week 3 of NFL campaign. I've got a blockbuster special, a pair of huge releases, my college dog of the month Saturday, and my AFC game of the month on Sunday with a 2-0 guarantee. You will go 2-0, or the rest of September football is free. 2 games are $10. If you sign up early, you'll get a high roller release scoring tonight. Call L.V.S.S. at 1-866-575-8916. Your free play comes to the NFL on Sunday as the coach of 49ers battle in San Francisco. This is the first road game for the young coach in a terrible situational spot all the way to the West Coast. The Colts were a playoff team last year, but the first road game, a 41-21 loss at Chicago, was a 10-plus dog. The 49ers have so much balance and talent and have a huge edge defensively on the Colts. The 49ers are on a 25-12-1 against the spread run, 15-6-1 ATS at home. Your free play for Sunday, the 49ers. Once again, get a pair of huge releases, my college dog of the month Saturday and my AFC game of the month on Sunday with a 2-0 guarantee. You'll go 2-0, or the rest of September football is free. 2 games are $10. If you sign up early, you'll get a high roller release scoring tonight. Call L.V.S.S. at 1-866-575-8916.
Okay, Jeff, thanks a lot, and good luck with the big plays this weekend. Well, Bears and Steelers on Sunday night. John, I think it's safe to say I know where the public is going to be on this football game, and it's not on the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Absolutely right. You know, when you look at these two teams, there's really 2 things that stand out. One is defense, and one is offensive line. Huge difference. And really, that gets back to fundamental football. I mean, the Bears' defense is absolutely loaded. They've allowed 340 and 350 yards in the first 2 games of the season. You know, that's very good in this day and age of all-out offense. And then the offensive line, which has been such a big problem the last 2 years, I thought that would be a huge problem with Mark Trestman coming in wanting to throw the football more. Well, it's been phenomenal. Only 1 sack by Jay Cutler in these 2 games. So this team is still learning the playbook, but very much clicking. And then the defense. How about 6 turnovers in 2 games they've been able to turn? So this is a powerful team in the NFC that they're not going to go away. Steelers, on the other hand, boy, as you mentioned, all kinds of problem. Ben Roethlisberger, 2 touchdowns and 2 picks in the 2 games. He clearly misses speedy wide receiver Mike Wallace. The offense, 9 and 10 points in the 2 games. Steelers, when they play on grass, you know, they're 5-15-1 against the spread, and that's a trend that it's hard to see that turning around with all the problems that they have. So, Jim, I'm going to go with Chicago in this one.
Well, I can understand why. When you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, the demise of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I mean, it's an aging team. They kind of a throwback club. Now, of course, they're trying to go up tempo because all they really have left is Ben Roethlisberger. They've lost wide receivers in Wallace. They've lost a running back in Bell. Their defense, Harrison, Hampton, they got the tremendous regression of this team. This is not the Pittsburgh Steelers of my father or my grandfather's era. This is a different team, and they're really in a rebuilding mode. They lost all of their preseason games. They've lost the first 2 games in the regular season. And they have not looked good at any point the entire year. So, you know, look at the Bears. They bring in a whole new coaching staff. They have a very talented quarterback who's had a lot of offensive coordinators over the years. They got Brandon Marshall at wide receiver, who Jay Cutler absolutely loves going to. Mark Trestman, who is an up-tempo coach that's been in the NFL, had success as an offensive coordinator, went up to Montreal, won a couple of Grey Cups up there. And this is a team on the upswing. They're going to give the Packers and the Lions a run for their money for that division, believe me. I do agree that the Packers, not the Packers, but the Bears in this game should be the favorite. I know it's a Sunday night game. I know Pittsburgh's a home dog. A lot of people like that. But this is not a healthy Pittsburgh Steelers team. The Bears deserve to be the favorite.
I will look at, now I just talked about overs. Well, here's the opposite side of the spectrum. Pittsburgh's offense is atrocious. We've seen that not only in the regular season games, but here's where, if you looked at what happened in the preseason, you know, sometimes it is an indicator of things to come. Their offense has been horrendous for 6 straight games now. The 4 in preseason and the 2 regular season games. By the way, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Steelers are 0-6 straight up and against the spread if you want to factor in the preseason. It's a bad football team right now, but it's particularly bad on the offensive side. The Bears, if you look at last week's game against Minnesota and you see 31-30, boy, what a shootout. It wasn't really a shootout. Special teams had a ton to do with all the scoring in that game, especially early, and the defenses were scoring. It wasn't the offenses that put up the points in that game. So this is, I guess you could say, the polar opposite of the game we just talked about, in that I don't know that either of these teams right now is that much of a threat offensively. I think the Bears are probably more of a threat than the Steelers are, because the Steelers, they have no running game. Roethlisberger's getting chased all over the place. They really don't have game breakers at wide receiver, and the offensive line is a sieve. Pittsburgh can still play defense. I like the Bears' defense, despite the fact that they've got an offensive-minded coach now. This is still, in my opinion, at least for the time being, still a defensive-first team. The offense will get better as the season goes along, but right now I don't look at it as great. I think this will be a low-scoring game on Sunday night between the Bears and the Steelers. And that's where we are in this game. Let's get a recap and some best bets as well. Jim, we'll start with you this time. Let's get a best bet and also a recap of what is a tremendous offer for someone who's on a pretty big-time hot streak right now.
My best bet here on the show is the Cincinnati Bengals. They opened the favorite. Now they're the dog. I personally took 3 already on the game. I just don't think the Packers deserve to be favored there. And so I'm going to take value in the line with what I think is a better roster, not a better quarterback, but a better overall roster. I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals as a home underdog to the Green Bay Packers, even though I know I'm going up against Aaron Rodgers, who is an absolutely incredible quarterback. But the overall roster favors the Cincinnati Bengals and 3 points at home. That's where I'm going. And as far as your best bet, you definitely want to call for my special. $29, you get 3 big plays. These would cost you $100 a piece. That's a $300 value for $29. You get a 3-0 guarantee. If we don't go 3-0 on those games, you get the rest of September absolutely free. Call 1-866-841-1655.
Okay, thanks, Jim. And we'll turn to John Cranton to once again remind us what Jeff Saad's got going and a best bet from you, John.
Yeah, best bet will be on the Seattle Jaguars game going on Sunday. Seahawks Jaguars. I don't see any points under the total. Jeff Saad has a special at L.V.S.S. 2 plays for $10. You're going to get Jeff's AFC game of the month Sunday, his college football dog of the month going on Saturday. Guaranteed 2-0, and the rest of football for September free. 1-866-575-8916.
I'm going to give you a little bit of an oddball play for my best bet. And it's interesting, we don't talk about this stuff beforehand. I had no idea that you were going to mention the Seattle-Jacksonville game. I want to talk about that game as well. I don't know if I've ever seen a flatter spot for a team than this one. I mean, you talk about, at least not in week 3, maybe in week 16 with a team that's got something wrapped up. Yeah, you can have more of a flat spot. But Seattle's coming off this big game win against San Francisco, and here come the pathetic Jaguars. And they if you look up pathetic in the dictionary, it's a team photo of the Jaguars. I think you take Jacksonville in the first half of this game. Okay, now here's my rationale for this. I don't know how Seattle gets up for this game. Eventually they're going to win this game and probably win it by a substantial amount of points. There's no way I'm going to lay 3 touchdowns in an NFL game. That's not happening. But I really don't want Jacksonville for the full game, because at some point they'll probably make enough mistakes that Seattle might actually cover it. But I think in the first half you're going to have a few things combining for a decent bet on the underdog. One is that the Jaguars have nothing to lose here and would at least like to gain a measure of respect. This is one of those games where, and you don't hear this very often at the pro football level, but there's actually a moral victory to be had for the Jacksonville Jaguars here. If they can just go and play a reasonable game at Seattle, they'll come out of there with a little more respect than they had going in. Because right now, you listen to the guys on TV or on radio, they think it's going to be 48-0. And you know what? If Seattle plays their game, it might be. The Seahawks have the biggest home field advantage in the league right now. I don't think it's going to be there for this game. I think this crowd's going to be flat as well. They already know what's going to happen going in. There's no way that they're going to be as fired up as they were for San Francisco last week. So what you've got is a situation where, if Jacksonville can put a field goal up, or 1 touchdown for sure, I think you got an easy cover in the first half. And that's going to be my best bet. See, a Jacksonville plus the points in the first half, hope it hits, and then just get out of the game at that point. In fact, if it's real close, if it happens to be, a 10-10 game or something like that at the half, then maybe it might be time to take the Seahawks in the second half, and maybe you can double up and make it a nice score. All right, so that's my best bet. Again, it's been really good so far. The numbers are tremendous in college football so far, and the pros. The first week was not good. Last week was terrific. Red hot right now. Everybody that's on with my service, whether they're weekly customers, monthly, full season, on for smaller plays, bigger plays, everybody's making money right now. And I'd like to get you guys in on this 5-play countdown on Saturday, which is going to include 1 big play, and all 5 for $25. You sign up now. You get a bonus TV winner tonight. Make the call to 1-866-896-1629, and I'll do my best to put you in the winner's circle this weekend. That's going to do it for this edition of Proline. But we covered the NFL here. We still got colleges to do as well, so make sure and check out the college football edition of Proline. For John Cranton, Jeff Saad, HK Malay, for Jim and John, of course, I'm Dave. See you later. Have a great winning weekend.